Hey, good morning, guys. This is Thursday the 29th. I should have done a video on this, but I thought about it now. I just want to show the setups again. So I don't trade the first 5 minutes because, as you can see, there's so much activity going on in 5 minutes. A lot of candles. Okay. So what happens here is we get the shoot up here, right? And then it forms this high and a higher low because it took out this swing, it took out that swing. So that's a higher high and that's a higher low. And this is not a higher high, which is giving us an indication. Let me use the pointer since that's a higher high and that's a higher low. But that's not a higher high. Didn't take out that. So there's a possibility that the trend could change. And the way the trend would change is if you took out this low over here, because that's the last higher low, and it does, and we get a thrust down, and I take a pullback to the 3 area, which is the supply area in this case. We get filled, we go down 20 ticks. Okay, then gives you kind of like a 2B over here, and then down. So I'd be looking for a setup over here. It just didn't happen. Then we come down here, and it makes a lower low and a lower high, but not a lower low. And we get a shoot up, and it takes out this point 2 area over here. So here's the point 1, there's the point 2, there's the point 3. It didn't make a lower low. So once it takes out this point, the trend is changed. I come in over here, and I end up getting a +1. Okay, no harm, no foul. Made a new low down here, and this is the last pullback area, and you can see it's a big thrust down from there, and I come in with a pullback here, and I go down for 20. Then we make a lower low and a lower high and then a lower low, and there's my last pullback area. We got a thrust bar. You'll always notice that on my pullbacks I'm looking for a thrust coming down from that area, because everything forms a 1, 2, 3 if you think about it. There's point 1, there's point 2, there's point 3, and from here it shoots down. And today I got lucky. Some days I don't get lucky, but today I got lucky. I was getting hit on the bid, and got into this one. Hung around here a little bit. I had it at +1, didn't take me out, as you can see over here. One tick down is right there, and I was able to go down for 20. Okay, so then we made a lower low. Let me go back to the pointer. So we make a lower low and a lower high, and it kind of goes sideways here. Then we shoot down over here. Be looking for a sell over here, but it doesn't, and we get this 2B formation, which is a lower low, lower high, and this made it a 1, 2, 3 until it take out the low, and it just took out the low by a little bit. So if price shoots up and takes out this high right over here, this over here would be a 2B break, and it does. And I'd be looking for a pullback down here, which I didn't get. And then it makes a higher high and a higher low. I didn't take a pullback here because you see this candle here? That's not, the thrust bar came after it, but that's a hesitation bar, so I don't take that. Then it makes a higher high and a higher low, and it retests it, and it doesn't, so you got a 1, 2, 3 over there. And then it shoots down. Now it takes out this swing, makes a higher high, a lower low and a lower high, and then a lower low and a lower high, and there's that 2B formation. And it breaks, and it came over here and ended up getting a +1 on the deal, and I decided to just call it a day. So hopefully this becomes a little clearer. If I were to continue with this, that would have been a fill over here on this pullback, because from there it shot down. So that would have been at 68.50. It would have went to 64, which would have been up 18, and you would have ended up with 10 on that deal. At least I would have ended up with 10 on that deal. And then let's see what else happened. Well, it gives you a lower low and a lower high, but not a lower low. As you can see over here, these two are, so I take a pullback. Once it takes out point 2 over here, I take a pullback to here. And I probably end up getting a +1 on the deal. So, took out the high, and then we go sideways, and this would have been, and let's see what happens now. And okay, so now we make a new high, and then we make a higher low, and then not a higher high. Once it takes out this point here, the 1, 2, 3 is broken. You'd look for a pullback over here. It didn't happen. Then it makes a lower low and a lower high, and that one just missed. But before you even get up to that one, you got a 2B break right over here. See, you made a lower low. Use the pointer again. You made a lower low and a lower high, and it just takes out the last low by a tick, I think, on this one. Where are we? Right over here. Yeah, just by a tick. Goes up. So now my entry would be, oh, my mistake. Oh no, it would be right here. There's your entry right there, and let's see what happens on this trade. So you got in at 48 and a quarter, put you in a hole 48 and a quarter, 47 and a quarter, 46 and a quarter, put you in a hole 8 ticks, and at 48 and a quarter you need to get to 53 and a quarter, and it gets to 56, and that would have been another 20. And it goes right to where that supply area was, which would be your next pullback, because now you made a lower low, and there's the last pullback, and you'd be able to take this at 56.50, and there's another 20 right to there, unless of course it came back to here first, but you get the idea. Then we just take out the low by a little bit, and this would be an area where you'd look to, once it takes out this swing over here, once it takes out this swing over here, you'd put an entry to go long over here. It didn't happen. Then you'd have another long over here, and it didn't happen. And let's see. So it made a higher high and a higher low, but not a higher high and not a lower low, and then it shoots up off of this 1, 2, 3. I don't think you get filled. Okay, here we go. So you got a higher high and a higher low, and it just takes out the last high by a little bit. So once price takes out this little swing over here, which it does over here, this is where your entry would be, right up there. And I don't know how far you're going to go, but let's say you're getting in at 73 and a quarter. Oh, look at that. Get you 20 right in the button. Then we make a lower low, a lower high, and it just nips out the low over here by a tick. You'd have an entry here once it took out the swing. It took out the swing, but you didn't get the entry. And double tops up there, and makes a higher high and a higher low, but not a higher high. So you look for an entry over here, but because of, well, there's nothing wrong with that. So you get in over here, you probably end up with a +1 over there. Then we swing down again, and it gives you another 2B over here, and it breaks. And this is not a thrust bar. Okay, so now we made a higher high. This would be your entry over here, but it didn't connect. Now this would be, here's an interesting one. So you made a higher high. Where are we? Yeah, made a higher high and a higher low. Got a thrust bar. Takes out the high. So right over here would be my entry to go long. And I don't think we got filled. Let's see. The high there is 75, 75, and the low over here is 75, 75. So there's a possibility we gotten filled, but you would have probably broken even because one tick up is there. Then it makes a higher high and a higher low, but no thrust bar there. Then we kind of go meandering to where we are right now, and that's really it. Okay. Hopefully that gives you more information.